What I want to focus on is that area of conscious competency where you're learning the thing. And that often feels like a lot of resistance. It's challenging to learn something new. Learn to scale on the piano, it takes a lot of effort. We all desire that state of flow where we're just masterful and we're doing the thing, but inevitably to get there, you have to focus and get to that point where it's a little bit more clunky. And so how do you relate to that? Because a lot of, I think, people, when they speak about flow, it's this ideal state of just, so much ease. But if we're going to learn anything new, which is part of the process of becoming self-actualized, it's going to consist of a lot of those consciously competent moments.
Struggle is awful. Learning is awful, mostly because of how we're talking to ourselves, right? I've been teaching myself how to draw. I have a degree in art from way back, but I haven't touched drawing in 30 years. And came back to it 7 months ago. And all I'm doing is making a drawing a day, basically. There might be 3 that I might actually show to people. Maybe. Just maybe, and only if I really love you. I've posted a couple on social media. Why? Because I want to, I don't like learning anything in public. It really bothers me. I don't like being bad in public. I don't mind being bad, but I don't like being bad in public. But I want to get over that because it blocks learning. So I'm forcing myself to put some of these drawings out on social media along the way, just because it helps me break down that. But as a general rule, the experience has been remarkably flowy. And one of the reasons is I have zero expectation. I don't think I'll ever do anything professionally with those drawings. I have no plans for an art show or a graphic novel or any of that stuff. This is really just for me, but I don't judge it, right? In fact, if it's good, I'm more surprised than if it's bad. If it's bad, I'm still learning, right? Usually what is a win for me is it's bad, but I can see what I did wrong, so I don't have to make that mistake again, right? And that's how I'm looking at it, and I'm calling that a win. If you're going at it that way, the learning process can be incredibly flowy. Now, I'm not dropping into deep, what we'd call macroflow, deep macroscopic flow states, but I am getting into microflow, the kind of low-grade version of the state, almost every time I draw. And it's literally just I'm showing up, I'm putting in the work, and I'm not judging at all. Now, that's unusual for me. It took me a long time to figure out how to not judge myself, right? I'm harsh on myself, and I like that about myself. I think one of the reasons I'm successful is because I'm a ruthless taskmaster on myself, but it's gotten to a point where it can stand in my way, and some of it's negative. So I'm trying, especially with drawing, to kind of remove that, and posting things in public is taking that a little farther and making it a little more uncomfortable, but it's working. My point is, microflow is very available, right, along the way. When it starts getting blocked for a lot of people is the shame, the self-consciousness, or for me, I say this a lot with skiing, self-expectation has ruined more ski days than anything else in the world, right? And flow's the worst for this. So this is really funny, but we talk about flow as the most pleasurable state on earth, and it is. But I get into a great flow state. I go skiing and say, I learned a bunch of new tricks in the terrain park in flow. The next time I come back, I expect to be able to perform at that level right again. And that's usually not how it works. What happens with flow, especially with athletics, but usually in general, when you get into a deep flow state, it's your body showing you, okay, this is what might be possible at the unconscious level, but you're still going to have to learn how to do all these things consciously along the way before you can get back here. So I feel like sometimes flow states give you a preview of what's possible without flow. In sports, they say you can win a championship without flow. If it's a one-game champ. You can't win a 7-game series without flow. That'll never happen. But if it's a single one game of a Super Bowl, for example, you can probably pull that off without flow, but you'll never want to do it again because it's so miserable. Yeah. So you can perform at your best without the sport, without flow, but it's rare. I love those days, even though they are miserable.
It's because
right?
It's become a part of you.
It's become a part of you, and now you can execute it when you're tired, when you're not. That's what that I'm really excited because then I'm like, oh, I got this, and I can trust that the skill is built in.